Hi, my name is Andrea Batiste, and I'll be talking to you about why funding is being cut to special education in California. Special education is near and dear to my heart because I've been working in it for about 9 plus years, and I've just seen the effects that it has um, within the school setting. It sucks really bad sometimes um, how little funding, how little funding we have, and it really affects our teaching. Um, so I know the problem is it's not the government being a bully. It's not you know uh, the government saying special education, bah, you can't have any money. No, it's. I get that there's a lack of money, and within our big budget, and they just see where it needs to be cut and they cut it. But our classrooms are not your average classrooms. The money that we're going to be using isn't just to buy paper, pencils, books, crayons, even though those are very important utensils, educational utensils that we do need. It's concentrating on a little bit more. Um, Such as occupational therapy, vision services, adaptive physical education, and speech therapy. And as well as what I'm a one to one classroom aide. And I go into classrooms and help with kids who have certain behavioral issues and need everyday support, like feeding, diapering, and have certain seizure disorders or balance issues and stuff like that. I go in and I'm their teacher and advocate within the schools. Because all these costs on paper look frivolous, they're the first things to be cut. When the funding is cut, students are left with gaps in their educational care. And to me, this is completely unacceptable. My solution to the problem, one thing um, the state has done is implementing an immersion programs for students, and I do think that these are very can be very successful. This is called this immersion program is also called mainstreaming. Um, in a textbook, this is a really long name, but the textbook's called "The Education Attitude." Oh, the attitudes of special education teachers and mainstreaming education teachers working in Cyprus, and special education special education teachers working in the U.S. towards mainstreaming education. It's a very long title. I apologize. And I found this cool um, quote that's, let me just sum it up. It is observed that disabled students who are given education in the least restricting environment created for them show similar development with their peers, make progress in all development areas, especially in social and personality development, and by being included in the community. Disabled students, they become individuals taking more realistic, concrete steps towards self-realization with a positive sense of self and self-esteem, which I thought was a very encouraging quote. But it's not always the right fit. Some of the kids that I work with have major behavioral problems, or they do not have language. They do not have the capacity to communicate in any way. That is, spelling, speaking, sign language, any type of way that people are who are, you know, um, not doing well in one way, they learn how to adapt in another. The kids that I work with do not have that capacity. In a journal that I found called Bridging the Special Education Divide, I found that this method doesn't always turn out the way the schools want them to. Despite these important advancements, it is nevertheless true that special education knowledge based service delivery system and funding remain inadequate for addressing the needs of many students with disabilities. Many students continue to suffer inappropriate school experiences and fail to acquire the knowledge and skills necessary for successful post school adjustment. It's really hard for some of our kids to adjust to certain situations, and it makes it super, super hard for them to get the adequate education that they deserve. Not all, this is just a continuation of that. Earlier this year, I found an article in the Sacramento Bee, and they called Budget Cuts, Change in Approach, Place More Special Education Students in Regular Schools. And they interviewed some really, really exasperated parents. One set of parents, their son has severe autism, and this is one of the quotes that they said. They put them in schools, and it's like a huge experiment. And then they watch them sink or swim. This is kind of what a lot of parents think. Like, they want their child to have the a fair amount of time to be able to learn something, and sometimes in the mainstream setting, it's not enough time and then the kids get very, very frustrated, and they don't know how to deal with certain aspects of typical learning in the typical educational setting. This is what I would kind of call the sink or swim method that the government implements. This method doesn't really work, and if only schools worried less about the cost of having specialized schools and more about positive impact classes could have on these services, it would be great. It'd be awesome. It's always about the dollar sign. This budget cuts, like I said, come at a cost. Schools need to understand that specialized services come at a cost, but this shouldn't be at the cost of the students.